Which way are we going?
Detective Joseph Palillo. Detective Joseph Palillo died as a result of cancer that he developed following his assignment to the search and recovery efforts at the World Trade Center site following the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Detective Palillo is survived by his wife, 3 sons, and his sister. His brother, Battalion Chief John Palillo, served with the New York City Fire Department and was killed in the line of duty when the World Trade Center's North Tower collapsed on September 11, 2001. On the morning of September 11, 2001, 72 officers from a total of 8 local, state, and federal agencies were killed when terrorist hijackers working for the Al-Qaeda terrorist network, headed by Osama bin Laden, crashed 4 hijacked planes into the World Trade Center towers in New York City, the Pentagon, Arlington, Virginia, and a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. After the impact of the first plane into the World Trade Center's North Tower, putting the safety of others before their own, law enforcement officers along with fire and EMS personnel rushed to the burning twin towers of the World Trade Center to aid the victims and lead them to safety. Due to their quick actions, it is estimated that over 25,000 people were saved. As the evacuation continued, the South Tower unexpectedly collapsed as a result of the intense fire caused by the impact. The North Tower collapsed a short time later. 71 law enforcement officers, 343 members of the New York City Fire Department, and over 2,800 civilians were killed at the World Trade Center site. A third hijacked plane crashed into a field in rural Pennsylvania when the passengers attempted to retake control of the plane. 1 law enforcement officer who was a passenger on the plane was killed in that crash. The 4th hijacked plane was crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, killing almost 200 military and civilian personnel. No law enforcement officers were killed at the Pentagon on 9/11. The terrorist attacks resulted in the declaration of war against the Taliban regime, the illegal rulers of Afghanistan, and then the Al-Qaeda terrorist network, which was also based in Afghanistan. On September 9, 2005, all of the public safety officers killed on September 11, 2001, were posthumously awarded the 9/11 Heroes Medal of Valor by President George W. Bush. The contamination in the air at the World Trade Center site caused many rescue personnel to become extremely ill and eventually led to the death of several rescue workers. On May 1, 2011, members of the United States military conducted a raid on a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, and killed Osama bin Laden.
Investigator Dornell Cousette, Tuscaloosa Police Department, Alabama, end of watch, Monday, September 16, 2019. Investigator Dornell Cousette was shot and killed while attempting to serve a warrant at a home near the intersection of Short 17th Street and 33rd Avenue at 6:25 p.m. The subject was wanted for failing to appear on prior felony charges and had been located at his home by a bondsman. When Investigator Cousette arrived at the scene to assist, the man ran inside the home. Investigator Cousette pursued him inside where the man opened fire. Investigator Cousette was struck in the face. Despite being mortally wounded, he was able to return fire and wounded the subject. Investigator Cousette was transported to a local hospital where he succumbed to his wounds. The subject was arrested after showing up at the hospital as a result of his gunshot wounds. Investigator Cousette was a U.S. Army veteran and has served with the Tuscaloosa Police Department for 13 years. He is survived by his 2 daughters and fiancé.
Police Officer Derek Bishop, New York City Police Department, New York. End of watch, Thursday, September 19th. Police Officer Derek Bishop died as the result of cancer that he developed following his assignment to the search and recovery efforts at the World Trade Center site following the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Officer Bishop served with the New York City Police Department for 21 years and was assigned to the 71st Precinct. He is survived by his wife, 2 daughters, mother, and brother.
Captain Vincent Liberto Jr., Mandeville Police Department, Louisiana, end of watch, Friday, September 20th, 2019. Captain Vinny Liberto was shot and killed at the intersection of Causeway Boulevard and LA 22 US 190 following a vehicle pursuit. He and another officer had pursued the vehicle until it crashed with other cars at the intersection. One of the men in the vehicle exited the car and opened fire, killing Captain Liberto and wounding the other officer. Both men in the vehicle were taken into custody. The men who shot Captain Liberto were charged with first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer, attempted first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer, and numerous other charges. Captain Liberto was a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He had served with the Mandeville Police Department for 25 years and had previously served with the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office for 5 years. He was a graduate of the FBI National Academy. He is survived by his wife and 7 children.
Deputy Sheriff Chris Halsey, Meade County Sheriff's Office, Kentucky. End of watch Saturday, September 21st. Deputy Sheriff Chris Halsey suffered a fatal heart attack after struggling with a subject while executing a search warrant at 1299 Greer Road in Paineville, Kentucky. He collapsed shortly after becoming engaged in the struggle at 6:30 p.m. 2 detectives who were on scene performed CPR until he was transported to Harrison County Hospital. The suspect he struggled with was charged with manslaughter following the altercation. Deputy Halsey formerly served as an assistant chief with the Meade County Fire Department, was a former Brandenburg City Councilman, and was a paramedic with Meade County EMS. He is survived by his 4 sons, his father, who served as a local fire chief for 40 years, his sister, and other family members.
Sergeant Tracy Vickers, he was a Florida Highway Patrol, end of watch Friday, September 27th. Sergeant Tracy Vickers was killed in a vehicle crash on Route 408 near Conway Road at approximately 5:50 a.m. His patrol car struck the rear of a truck carrying construction equipment and became trapped underneath it. Sergeant Vickers was a U.S. Navy veteran and had served with the Florida Highway Patrol for 4 years. He is survived by his fiancée and other family members. He was posthumously promoted to the rank of sergeant.
Deputy Sheriff Sandeep Singh Diwaliwal. Deputy Sheriff Sandeep was shot and killed while conducting a traffic stop in the 14,800 block of Willency Court at approximately 12:45 p.m. As Deputy Sandeep was returning to his patrol car, one of the passengers exited the vehicle and ran toward him while opening fire. Deputy Sandeep was struck multiple times. He was flown to a local hospital where he succumbed to his wounds several hours later. The man who shot him fled to a nearby business where he was arrested by the responding deputy. The man had been wanted since 2017 for absconding from parole. Deputy Sandeep had served with the Harris County Sheriff's Office for 10 years.
Detective Brian Charles Mulkeen, New York City Police Department, end of watch Sunday, September 29th, 2019. Detective First Grade Brian Mulkeen was inadvertently shot and killed by another police officer as he attempted to arrest a subject armed with an illegal handgun. He and his team were assigned to patrol in plain clothes around the Edenwald houses in the Bronx. The officers were assigned to the area due to gang activity, including a recent shooting in the area. The officers observed a suspicious male in the rear of one of the buildings. 3 of the officers exited their patrol car to question the man, but he fled on foot. Detective Mulkeen caught the male and attempted to take him in custody. A violent struggle ensued for control of the firearm the man was carrying. The firearm discharged 5 times during the struggle, prompting other officers on scene to return fire. Detective Mulkeen was inadvertently struck by friendly fire. He was taken to Jacoby Medical Center where he died from his wounds. Detective Brian Mulkeen had served with the New York City Police Department for 6 years and was assigned to the Patrol Borough Bronx Anti-Crime Unit. He is survived by his parents and sister. He is posthumously promoted to the rank of Detective First Grade.